What was your most memorable experience serving as president?
Gosh, the whole experience is memorable. To pick a single one, I went on Good Morning America to defend our position on who should be using lasers and the danger of lasers in certain situations. So that was pretty exciting.
Nice. What were the issues facing the society at the time?
The issues facing the society when I was president were similar to the issues that we're facing now. In other words, other specialties, subspecialties, and non-trained people invading our space and wanting to use things that, treatments that we rightly or wrongly regard as our territory. We were approached by plastics who wanted to put together a combined group with ENT and ophthalmology, but it wasn't going to work, and I had to sort of switch that off and do other things.
What were the most significant innovations in dermatology at the time?
The most significant innovations in dermatology when I became president. I had quite a lot to do with the development of botulinum toxin. And in 2006, that was still relatively new, and we were having to develop treatment algorithms, and we were doing things. But what else was interesting? I haven't thought about this for some time now, so you must forgive me. The world of fillers was really expanding in the early parts of this century, and that would probably be the biggest new development. We had hyaluronic acid based fillers, but we didn't know how to use them, and they weren't anywhere near as good as the fillers that we have now. But they were probably the most important thing. The other thing, of course, would be lasers and different lasers and using them to better effect. But for me, because I'm an injector, I think that the injectables were the area that was of greatest interest.
Who was your most memorable patient and why?
My most memorable patient was a woman who came to see me to be injected with botulinum toxin for wrinkles. And I treated her, saw her a couple of months later. I said, "What did you think of it?" And she said, "I live in a different world." I said, "You live in a different world? That's pretty dramatic." She said, "Before you treated me, I'd walk down the street and I'd be scowling because the light would be bright. And so people would look at me looking angry, worried, stressed, whatever. And they'd say, 'There's a bitch,' and cross the road. Now they see my smile and they smile back. I live in a different world."
And looking back at your career, is there anything you would change or do differently?
Gosh, my career has been pretty exciting, to be honest. The thing that was most dramatic was Gene's initial observation about botulinum toxin, And then my work with Jean, expanding the use, understanding it, doing all the studies. It's not many people who are lucky enough to have a partner who invents a whole new area of specialization for them. I trained as a Mohs surgeon, and I thought that I would perform Mohs surgery for the rest of my life. And I quit doing Mohs in 1999, right about the turn of the millennium. And that sort of surprised me. I wasn't expecting that would happen. So it was a big surprise when I suddenly realized one day that I just didn't have the time to do everything that I was doing. We were doing all the research on botulinum toxin. We were developing it, teaching people how to use it. It was very exciting, and that's just the way it was.
What advice would you give today's young dermatologic surgeons?
Have fun. This is a subspecialty which is so enjoyable and so exciting and so full of people who are working hard at having a good time. Just don't spend all your time working. Obviously, you're going to work, but that's okay. You can work and have a good time. But if you waste all your time doing things, you're not getting the benefit that you should be getting out of our subspecialty. So have fun.
What are your predictions for the future of the specialty?
The future of our subspecialty is going to be more of the same, I think. I mean, that's an easy prediction. But there's a lot of intelligent people out there who are playing around with the tools that we have, and they're getting new and different toys for us to play with. And some of these toys are going to become important in our work over the next few years. And so my prediction is more of the same. We're built on innovation, the innovation of Fred Mohs' development of his technique for removing skin cancers, and then Jean and my development of the injectable world. And Rox Anderson and his team's work on lasers and other energy-based devices. This is just the start. We're going to carry on, and we're going to get a long way from here.
What advice do you have for ASDS leadership in serving its membership in the future?
How would I advise the ASDS leadership with regards to the future? That's a tough one, because I should have implemented the ones that I should have implemented the changes that I could see when I was president. So if I have not, that's my fault. But it's an organization that keeps on advancing and changing. And I was just at the annual meeting, and gosh, it was exciting to see all these young people with great ideas and things that were happening, that were happening with regards to skin cancer, things that were happening with regards to cosmetics. And do I think we need to go in totally different directions? No, I think we just carry on doing what we're doing.